host Ishwina and I'm with Mr. Manish Choudhary from Pitney Bowes. Welcome to GeoBiz, Manish.
Thank you.
Manish, the geospatial industry has seen more and more consolidation over the past few years with mergers and acquisition. What does this trend indicate?
So, a couple of things. I think one, the geospatial industry and the location intelligence is becoming more mainstream. So, if you look at any different types of industries, let's divide it by consumer industries and more industrial this thing. And if I take a context of IoT, you've got these consumer applications or navigation industries, you know, the Ubers of the world and the Olas and the others, which are trying to actually figure out if they have a core business case which is dependent on location and accuracy of data. Location is important to them. If you take healthcare and you want to do analytics of where people are and what's going on and how to serve better, location becomes an important element in that. Transportation industries, if you need to do better routing, better planning, again location and data is very, very important to how they're able to analyze. E-commerce companies, we had a panel this morning and we were talking about from better pricing to finding where commodities are to do better logistics, better targeting of people. You got this location element, whether it is in form of maps, in form of demographic data or parcel data or any of the other data sources which you're able to conflate and create smart analytics and smart decisions. In all of these industries, location is becoming very, very important. And that's why you're seeing that location, which used to be a separate standalone element, is becoming a very, very core element to a lot of these core business processes and the business models of these other vertical industries. The other trend we are seeing is with the advancement of big data, when you are collecting a whole lot of information, whether it's wearable devices, whether it is your mobile phones, whether it is your safety devices, whether it is your thermostats or home security devices, or a lot of consumer applications. What happens when you collect these, trillions of data points, and you really need the third element, which is the location data, to make sense of this. The fundamental questions of where and when. So that's where I think your location data and maps are able to provide a lot of context to that big data information which you're capturing, which in turn a lot of businesses are using to make realistic decisions or smart business outcomes in order to serve their clients better or in order to improve their efficiency of their operations better.
So, Manish, maps have become such a integral part of our everyday life because of internet, mobile devices, social media. We carry the globe in our pocket. So would you call this a technological revolution?
So that's an interesting point. I think a couple of ways to answer that question. So one is the power of the mobile itself. Every year, every month, you have the computing power of mobile devices is increasing very, very fast. The cost is actually getting lower, which means the cost of a normal phone, which has very high processing power, high memory, the advancements of sensors, whether it is to tell me what floor am I on, how much did I walk, what tilt, what navigation. The number of sensors, the navigation power, the storage power, the processing power of the mobile phones have increased, which means you have far more access to process things. That's one. Second is the advancement of things in cloud and SaaS. The number of applications, number of processing, number of things which are getting connected through APIs and all hosted in cloud. That's the second element why you have so much of applications and so much of things which are coming in. And third, which is the penetration of internet in countries like India, which, like 5 years back, it was very difficult to think you would actually have 4G connections and you could stream and get real-time driving directions or get real-time analytics being pushed to your phones and vice versa. All of those things are happening right now. That's why you see it's a perfect intersection of processing power, applications in cloud, and your mobile data connectivity, which is probably one of, and it's getting better every day. So I hope that answers your question.
So how would you describe the role of Pitney Bowes in making geospatial technologies mainstream and raising the bar in the process?
So, as a company, we've been around for 100 years. We were leaders in commerce 100 years back when Arthur Pitney invented the postage meter, and Walter Bose actually was able to commercialize it. And if you take stamps and communications in those days as the first mode of commerce, we did more than 200 million geocoding points. This thing, we processed 800 million statements for one bank. We were able to take billions of points for a large telecom provider to actually create real-time information for them, and the use cases go on and on in that category. So Pitney Bowes has been evolving, and in that area right now we essentially launched a new branding campaign for ourselves, which we call as Craftsmen of Commerce. And you definitely, we'll forward you the link. It's absolutely a cutting edge. It describes all of the different things we're doing. So to answer the specific question in terms of location intelligence is very, very critical, whether to our e-commerce business in terms of finding where the transactions are happening, where people are, what are they buying, where do they live. We probably have the best data sets available, more than 80 different data sets for the US, 240 data sets for Europe, and similar numbers for Asia Pacific. So that gives us the power of context. We have the algorithms which are able to make sense of that data. We have businesses, whether it is to do smart transactions or to help insurance companies to better target the customers, or to telecom companies to serve their customers better, or using big data capabilities on location intelligence to make sense of of the large data sets which these companies are able to create. So we are on a bleeding edge, cutting edge type of things. We trained 1,100 of our engineers with big data, mobile, cloud, SaaS, analytics, all of the key cutting edge technologies for them to learn these and then to transform our core capabilities into the new modern cutting edge use cases which we are seeing. So very, very exciting times for what we've been able to do.
So today mainstream geospatial companies are saying that it's the consumer market which is driving the industry. What are your comments on that?
So that's right, and whether it is a B2B, eventually it is becoming B2B2C. So there is eventual consumer who's actually making the decision of the customer experience or the client experience. So for example, if you're looking at an app on your mobile phones which is around e-commerce, consumers expect that application to get customized based on their preferences and the location they are on. When you are roaming around with your phone, customers are experiencing or expecting that, deliver my parcel to where I am right now. So how do you do just-time routing and others? The consumers who are wearing a lot of wearables, whether it is to, one of the best examples, I was, talking to a friend of mine, and he was talking about how diapers are talking to consumers by saying that it's time for me to change, and by the way, it's time to order a new one, or something in your body or in your heart which is essentially telling you that time to go to a doctor, or your smart cities, your roads or parking, or your healthcare devices are telling. Now, when you think about all of those experiences, connecting through mobile phones, connecting through and providing data, whether it is to the business, which in turn is providing the benefits to a client, or it's direct to the consumer, that expectation is becoming very, very clear. And one of the most important use of technology, I feel, is when you don't think that there is a technology working in the background and it disappears. That's when you see that it's becoming very profound and it's becoming very, very pervasive. And we're seeing that trend happening. When you're driving with Google Maps, you expect the traffic to be there. When you are predicting a delivery of something, you expect certain things to happen that way. So when the expectations become a norm, that's when you see, and we're seeing that with the use of location very, very clearly, and consumers do expect things, and especially in India where you have 800, 900 million mobile phones, and you have the cheapest phone which was launched recently, 250 rupees, which is $10 or less? Yeah, not even that much. So when you have a phone like that, to a country which has 1 billion people, I think that will absolutely transform the consumer experience and what consumers are expecting through the mobile and through the technology. And location is going to play a very, very important role in that.
So, what are the new disruptive business models in geospatial content creation?
Crowdsourcing is going to be a key thing. How data is getting collected is going to be changing very, very fast. When you have, and I think, so there is, so far, the geospatial industry has dealt with what we call as structured data sets. We know where things are, we know how the data is coming, we know how to process it, we know, how to analyze and navigate and put it in our systems. The world's moving towards unstructured data sets. So the data which is getting created every time you tweet, social media, every time you interact on any social media content, one, there is a content, there is a location element to it, which means, with every message, the amount of data every time you're driving, you are collecting data sets. Every time you are ordering something online or you're going offline to online, you're collecting location data sets. Through remote sensing, through images, through pictures, through people tagging people. I believe in every communication which is happening between the businesses or between consumers to this thing, you're collecting data sets. Take the industrial side of things. Every time patients are going to hospitals and the machines are operating, you're collecting data which has a location attribute to it. Every time a bus is moving or a transportation activity is happening or an aviation activity is happening or people are moving from different places, that's location data. Every time you're transacting a credit card or a debit card or this thing, there is location data, which means how many people are online, how many people are offline, which places are online hotspots, which places are offline hotspots. By the way, in the time of Christmas, what transactions are happening at what places which are of particular type of categories versus when you are in winters, what type of transaction. There is phenomenal amount of data which has location attribute. That's all unstructured. So, you're going to see significant advancement to bring these structured, unstructured data sets and for companies, and this is where I think I feel very, very proud of what we are trying to do in Pitney Bowes with the technology and the applied use cases of big data, analytics, platforms, use of cloud, use of SaaS, and processing things in and harnessing the power of cloud, and then putting those information and the decisions back to the consumers. That's what we see are going to be very, very interesting disruptive trends. They're not even disruptive. I think people are doing it right now. I think we just have to see how sophisticated decision sciences and data sciences get to the point where it's able to take as much noise as it can take to get to very, very precise points. It's the same problems which we used to solve with a lot of effort and a lot of problems maybe 10 years back. We just expect these to be solved with the computational power and the analytics which we guys are going to get to at some point. Yeah.
You have already mentioned quite a few, but are there any other areas where location intelligence is being used? New areas?
I think I feel pretty much everything to do with consumer businesses. We are seeing industrial. We are seeing Pitney Bowes is a member of Industrial Internet Consortium. We had a recent partnership with GE on Pitney Bowes supporting the Predix platform. We see a lot of industrial use cases, as I said, mining, power, health and safety, aviation, transportation. On the consumer side, whether it is wearables, whether it is mobile technology, whether it is e-commerce, whether it is shipping, logistics, all of those, there is a particular set of use cases where you bring in a lot of data, you bring in location, and you make sense out of it. And in some of these categories, we are actively working on. I see from a point of context in India, the smart cities are going to be the next set of big things where location is potentially should transform. If you can use the geospatial data, the maps, the location, where people are, you can really solve some of the big problems in this country related to health and safety, related to women's security, related to child safety, healthcare, Our Prime Minister has this big program about Swachh Bharat or cleaning up India. Imagine if there was a way to figure out what are the pockets which are not clean, and that information is shared with the utility companies and the city government officials on a daily basis, where people are going and cleaning things. There is a way to do transportation and road safety and betterment of roads. There is so much applied use cases which can happen on just the infrastructure and the core issues which we guys face every day. So I think there is definitely much more to be done, and I think the initiative which Prime Minister has about the 100 smart cities is absolutely fascinating, and those are transformational initiatives. Even if you get to 20, 30, 50% success, that's far more than what we would have ever done by focusing all our efforts and channelize. Looking at these companies in this conference is amazing. How many companies are talking about smart cities, and the amount of technology, both from hardware and the software and the data side. Everybody's talking about it and everybody's doing something about it. So I think we're very, very excited that that's going to be one of the most promising use of technology for citizen services, public safety, and to connect with the communities which we live in and work in.
Okay. How do you see the user behavior changing over the years?
So user behavior, so our consumer behavior, user behavior is becoming very, very sophisticated. From there was a time when the consumers would go and fetch information. It's changing where the consumers are expecting that it get pushed to them. It gets pushed to them which is relevant, which has context, which is useful, and provides value. They don't want spam. They don't want junk. They want accurate information. So for example, if I landed in Bombay, I really want to get information about the restaurants at 1 p.m. where I am and where I want to be. I want the applications to be smart to know the taste and the mood and the ambience. I want I was talking to one of the e-commerce companies, and they said, we're not an e-commerce company, we're a client experience company. We know the family, we know the birthdays, we know the anniversaries, we know things. We bring in consumers and we interact through that experience. And that's the business model, and they're doing very, very well because they're in a luxury goods business, and in the luxury good business, it is expected, and they are able to increase the business because they have been able to put technology around bringing the consumer and the 360-degree view of the consumer and his family all in the business. Now, that's the type of experience which is absolutely fascinating. If you look at public sector also, I think our experience has really, really dramatically improved. We expect to find information, we expect to find bills, we expect to find this thing. Look at the most disruptive innovation. One of the best innovation I like about this of what's happening in the e-commerce, and while it's not really e-commerce, is about payments. Look at Paytm, look at Freecharge, look at all of these companies. They just took the fundamental problem of people going to a bank to process a bill, whether it's for electricity or for their TV or for their telephone. We could still transact, versus to give that power of transacting wherever you are on a phone with 3 clicks. That's revolution. That's what the experience. That's what consumer experience now. So when these companies which are on the cutting edge of innovation to take the old problem and making it so seamless and so easy, you're going to find more and more of the businesses or applications, whether it is in healthcare or electricity or in power or in travel. Look at Uber, Ola, and the competition. It's all about making that experience so seamless, using technology, using location, using big data, using analytics, using map.
Thank you for talking to Geobusiness.
Thank you for the opportunity. Great. Thank you.